I started working with TD in January of 2019 as her CSEC advocate. I had previously worked with TD as a youth counselor at a different organization. Since she was 14, I've watched TD move from placement to placement with no safe place to call home. During one of our sessions, TD looked at me and said, "Chelsea, no one wants to adopt a Black girl who's been labeled as a prostitute and a runaway. People want babies, not damaged girls who have behavioral issues." My heart broke for her when she said this because I knew how she felt in the core of my being. I felt helpless. TD is so much more than a survivor of CSEC. She has a singing voice that will bring you to tears. She does hair, makeup, and nails better than any professional that I know. She writes poetry that will pull at your heartstrings. She has a contagious laugh and a heart of gold. But the system had failed her. She is a stolen youth. At the age of 16, after running away from her 20th shelter placement of that year, she had met her trafficker through a friend. He had promised everything that she had never had: love, safety, belonging, clothes, money, food, a home, and family. This is how these perpetrators prey on their victims, through playing on their vulnerabilities and naivete. TD was being trafficked on North Aurora from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., being given crack and powder cocaine to make it through the night. Her trafficker would beat her if she didn't make a certain amount. I would meet her at a Starbucks in the afternoons to safety plan, support her, and provide a non-judgmental space for her to process. Trauma and healing is a journey. Advocacy is about walking alongside a person every step of the way and supporting them unconditionally. Some days are long and leave you feeling devastated due to the weight of the broken systems that are in place. The moments of hope make the work worth it. The moments where the youth takes that first step, getting a job, going back to school, getting into therapy, start believing they are worth more, that there is hope for a bigger future. TD has since left her trafficker, gotten a job at Nordstrom Cafe, and completed her GED. She is looking into transitional housing programs and trying to get her own place. Most importantly, she is focusing on the dreams she has always held close to her heart. She wants to go to beauty school, which is completely covered by DCYF. We are working on the steps to getting her there. TD has struggled with leaving the life fully, but she is resilient, a survivor, a warrior. I am honored that I get to know her and have the privilege of being in her life.
I'm Jenna Dimmick, and I am the program coordinator for the Safe Jobs Collaborative with Businesses Ending Slavery and Trafficking, or BEST. One of the most serious barriers for people exiting a trafficking situation is they have no income. So in 2017, BEST approached Stolen Youth to fund the Safe Jobs Collaborative. Working with Youth Care and REST, or Real Escape from the Sex Trade, the collaborative strives to create county-wide access to employment. This year, Youth Care sent a youth, Tyler, to a job readiness workshop hosted by BEST and Waldron Consulting. Later on, after a job interview, Tyler said, "At the end of the interview, they told me that I was hired. I think that the skills that I learned during the workshop and the resume that I built really helped me get the job." It allowed me to move into my very own newly renovated studio apartment, just walking distance from work. The Waldron staff created a training space that was safe and comfortable, and they helped create a clear road to success. Thanks to the generous support from Stolen Youth, we're able to fund this important work, assisting survivors and those at risk of being trafficked and finding safe employment opportunities so they can begin rebuilding their lives. Thank you.
Hello, my name is David. Recently, my family and I experienced a scary close call with an online predator. I'm here to tell you my story today in the hopes that it might prevent you and your family from becoming victims, because any family could fall prey to this problem. Several months ago, my ex-wife called me and said that she had found inappropriate conversations and pictures on our 15-year-old daughter's cell phone. These were conversations with a boy who was trying to convince her to come meet him in person. This boy was not someone that we knew, and these were clearly inappropriate, sexually related conversations. This raised a red flag for us and pushed us into action. My ex-wife contacted local authorities and the FBI, and I called Stolen Youth, an organization I've been involved with for several years since I moved to Seattle. Stolen Youth put me in touch with the Polaris Project, who specializes in immediate responses to situations like this. The authorities confiscated my daughter's cell phone, laptop, and tablet and launched an investigation. They determined that this boy was actually an older man posing as a teenager online to try and lure teenage girls to come meet him in person. Thankfully, we caught this early enough and intervened. My daughter has been receiving counseling, and we've taken full advantage of the resources made available by Stolen Youth and other similar organizations. I've been involved with the Stolen Youth organization for several years. I'm fully aware of this type of problem, and yet I never thought that it would happen in my family, but it did. So please, educate yourselves, educate your family and your children. Support Stolen Youth and the other organizations that fight this problem. Know what resources are available to you and how to use them if necessary. And most of all, stay diligent and stay safe.